Time, it's the only thing we can't outrun, yet we're constantly caught in its paradox. Is the past, present, and future simultaneous? These questions have perplexed thinkers, scientists, and philosophers for centuries. Time, as we understand it, is a constant, a steady ticking that moves us from the past, through the present, and into the future. Yet, there's a paradoxical twist to this seemingly straightforward flow. The concept of time is elusive, and the more we try to pin it down, the more it slips through our fingers. Consider the idea that the past, present, and future might be happening all at once. It's a notion that challenges our intuitive grasp of time, turning what we thought we knew on its head. But don't worry, we're not leaving you in a temporal tangle. In the next few minutes, we'll dig deeper into the concept of time and try to unravel its mysteries. To understand this paradox, let's journey through time, chronologically. We start in a world where ancient civilizations looked to the heavens for their temporal cues. The rising and setting of the sun, the phases of the moon, the changing seasons, these were the original chronometers, the earliest attempts to understand and measure time. Fast forward to the era of the Egyptians, who took the celestial concept a step further. They constructed sundials, simple yet ingenious inventions that used the sun's position to indicate the time of day. Not long after, the water clock, or clepsydra, made its debut. It was a device that marked time through the regulated flow of water. The Greeks and Romans further refined these methods, but the big leap forward came with the invention of mechanical clocks in the Middle Ages. These devices, powered by weights and gears, were capable of tracking time with unprecedented accuracy. And yet, time was still relative, varying from place to place. It wasn't until the 19th century that the idea of standardized time zones came into play. This was largely due to the advent of railways and the need for a uniform time system to manage schedules. Suddenly, time became less about the sun's position, and more about the position of a minute hand on a clock face. And then, in the 20th century, we entered the era of atomic time. Using the vibrations of atoms, we could measure time with mind-boggling precision down to the billionth of a second. Atomic time has become the gold standard for timekeeping, used by GPS systems and international time standards. As we've progressed, our understanding and measurement of time has become more precise, but that doesn't necessarily make it less paradoxical. So how can the past, present, and future be simultaneous? It's a concept that challenges our linear understanding of time. Let's dive into this idea and explore its fascinating implications. To understand this, we turn to the world of physics, specifically the theory of relativity. This groundbreaking theory, introduced by Albert Einstein in the early 20th century, drastically altered our perception of time. According to this theory, time is not absolute but relative, depending on the observer's speed and the gravitational pull they experience. Imagine two observers, one stationary and the other moving at a high speed. Events that appear simultaneous to the stationary observer may not be so for the moving observer. This is known as the relativity of simultaneity, a cornerstone of Einstein's special theory of relativity. Now let's take this a step further. If our perception of time is relative, then are the past, present, and future all happening at once? From a physics standpoint, it's a distinct possibility. After all, if two events can be simultaneous for one observer and not for another, then perhaps when something happens is just as relative as where. But what does this mean on a philosophical level? If time isn't strictly linear, then every moment we've ever lived, every moment we're living now, and every moment we will live could be occurring simultaneously. It's as if our lives are a movie reel, and while we're watching one frame, all the others exist at the same time, just waiting to be played. This concept challenges our understanding of time as a forward-moving arrow, suggesting instead that time may be more like a vast, three-dimensional landscape that we're navigating. It's a concept that blurs the lines between past, present, and future, suggesting that they might be different perspectives on the same reality, rather than distinct periods. It's a mind-bending concept, isn't it? But that's the beauty of time. It's as complex as it is simple. In the next scene, we'll explore whether this paradox can be resolved. But for now, let's marvel at the intriguing complexity of time. So does this resolve our paradox? Is time a smooth flow, or is it a collection of moments happening all at once? This is where we find ourselves, wrestling with the profound enigma of time. It's important to note that the paradox of time isn't a problem to be solved, rather it's a concept to be explored. Its mystery has sparked fierce debates among the greatest minds in the fields of science, philosophy, and even religion. Some argue that time is a linear progression of past, present, and future, a steady stream that carries us forward. Others contend that time is not linear, but rather a vast landscape where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. The theories are as varied as they are intriguing. Albert Einstein, for instance, suggested that time is relative, changing based on our speed and gravity's pull. On the other end of the spectrum, philosophers like J.M.E. McTaggart argued that time is illusory, a construct of our perception, with no real existence outside of our minds. Even as we delve deeper into the quantum realm, the nature of time remains one of the most debated topics. Quantum physics has further complicated the picture, with its strange world where cause doesn't necessarily lead to effect and particles can be in two places at once. Does time function differently on this microscopic level? The jury is still out, yet it's through these debates, these explorations of the mind-bending nature of time, that we gain a deeper understanding of our universe and our place in it. Each theory, each perspective reveals a new facet of this complex concept. We may not have definitive answers, but we're continually expanding our knowledge, pushing the boundaries of what we know and understand. Time keeps ticking and we keep pondering, and maybe that's the ultimate paradox of time. The more we understand it, the more it eludes us. As we uncover more about the universe, we also reveal more questions, more paradoxes. And so, the exploration continues, driven by our insatiable curiosity about the nature of time and existence. As we wrap up, let's revisit the main points we've discussed. We journeyed through the paradox of time, understanding its chronological nature, and the intriguing concept of the simultaneity of past, present, and future. We also touched on the ongoing debates around the nature of time. So while we continue to march forward in our own timelines, remember that time's complexities are far from resolved. Time, as they say, waits for no one. But perhaps the real essence of time lies in its paradoxes, its mysteries, and the questions it leaves us with. Until next time, keep pondering.